in this video, we're going to be generating a password generator. Hello everyone, welcome to another Python video. In this video, we're going to be generating a password generator. And as you can see in our current screen right now, we are just where we left off. We have coded a basic calculator where we can add, subtract, multiply, and divide, but we're going to kick it up a notch and we're going to be creating a password generator. So I'm still in my same folder, and what I'm going to do is generate a new Python file, and we're going to call it password.py, and our goal is going to be the following. So this is just the broken down decomposition that we thought about in given the textbook, from our given textbook, and our goal is to create a password generator. And that's our goal, and these are going to be our requirement. And when I run this code, we're going to run it through Python in our terminal and ask for password.py to be executed. So there are a lot of requirements. We're going to need password length, password criteria. Does it contain uppercase characters, include numbers, special characters? And we're going to generate a password with the given constraint, and we're going to output that password. All right. So we're going to need a password length. So that's very simple. We can write in this here, set password length. What we want is we want that to be held as a variable. So let's call this pw underscore length. The reason I'm using an underscore in this scenario here to name my variable is that the name itself required 2 words, but I can't have special characters in terms of like white spaces. I can't have white spaces between names because it needs to be a one single string basically when I name a variable name. So I'm going to attach it like so. There are other group of programmers who would often capitalize the second word and the third word onward, with the first letter of the word being capitalized. I personally like doing underscore. Both are possible. This is underscoring. The other one's called camel casing. I'm going to set this assigned to the integer input of, and then asking the user enter the length of the password. Okay. And then we can intro, we get a program introduction and say, we can print out, welcome to our password generating app. So what we've done here is just we wrote a print statement because that allows us to write an output to a terminal. And this is going to allow us to get a string-based input. And hopefully, if they wrote a numeric number for us, we can get that as an integer value. So if I run this code, right, it's going to output the following message: welcome to our password generating app, and we get to enter the length of the password, which is going to be, let's say, 8. And what we have done is it will convert this 8 into an integer, a numeric value that we can use in our Python program, and we'll set it into this variable called password length. And we have finished the first criteria of requiring a password length. And here we have some criteria. We're going to think about uppercase characters, numbers, and special characters. Okay, so at minimum, we know that we should have at least lowercase characters. Okay, so what we can do is a password criteria. We can say that lowercase, that is just composed of, if you make a string at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and you can write that all out as well. But what we're going to do is use some built-in functions that are available in Python, and then what we're going to do is utilize that in our code to help us not write all of it down, but rather use the ASCII code and convert the integers into the respective character values for lowercase, uppercase, and numbers and special characters. So instead of writing it all like this, we're going to be using some sort of a we're going to be using the ASCII numbers. And what we're going to do is utilize 2 functions here. We're going to use list and range. What the range function does, it from a starting point, let's say 1 up to 10, it just generates all the numbers into our memory. So it generates the numbers from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in this scenario, where range doesn't include the last value. And what list does, it contains those range of numbers in a list so that it is accessible. So we can say print lowercase to see what the contents of the lowercase are. So if I run this code, 8 for our length of password, we have generated a list, as you can see is contained in square brackets, and that list contains 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, those values. So if I know the integer equivalent value, where we know what numbers were encoded to what characters and symbols and digits in ASCII table, we can set those aside and just apply them and create a range of those value in this variable. And then we can do the same thing for our uppercase, where we're going to have list range of something. And then we can have special, which are going to be our special characters. And we're going to have list range of something. Okay. Okay, everyone. So if you see on my Google Chrome window here, what you see is from 0 to 31. These are the special control characters that we can press on a keyboard potentially. So from 0 to 31, we have these types of characters reserved, but they're not really friendly for passwords. So we're going to be ignoring the ASCII codes from 0 to 31. However, when we look at 32 all the way to 127, right, we are getting values that we might be able to add aside from maybe like a delete button, but everything on from 126 to 32, okay, we'll maybe ignore the white space here. So 33, we should be able to add any of these symbols and characters into our code. So it seems that when we have capital characters, it's going from 65 to 90 inclusively. So we can say uppercase in our program is 65 to 91 because range never includes the last value. So we're going to go up to 90 or 91, but not include the 91. In that same case, where we're to look at the lowercase numbers, it's going to go from 97 to 122 inclusively. So we're going to write 97, 123 inclusively because it up to 123 because it goes up to 122. Then our special characters are 123, 124, 125, and 126. And then we have 91 to 96. We have 58 to 63, and we have 33 to 48. So let's do our digits first. We're going to say we're going to have digits is equal to a list range of values. So we're going to have 48 to 57. 58 inclusively because we're going to include 57, so it's going to go up to 58. And then everything else is going to be the non-characters, or what we're going to call special characters. So first and foremost, the first set goes from 33 to 47. 48. And then what we're going to do is join another list and range. We're saying that we're going to be extending these values together. We're going to join two lists together. So what we're going to do is we wanted 33 to 48 all done. Then we need 58 to 65. So 58 to 65. And then we're going to also add the ASCII table 91 to 97. This range 91 to 97 here. And then plus list range. We're going to get the remaining ones as 123, 126. We need to include that. So that is our special variable. Now we should be able to know which one of these they would require. So we can say the following. We can say that our password symbols is equal to lowercase, and since lowercase is a list, it is often recommended that if you're going to use it, we're going to do dot copy. We're going to copy that, and we're going to say the list of possible symbol that we have for our password is going to be this. So a list of possible characters for our password, and it's going to be held there. And then we're going to write some unrelated if statements to make sure that we are going to turn on uppercase digits and special. So we're going to ask the following. Has upper, it's going to be equal to input. And we're going to ask them to include uppercase characters. And we can ask a yes, no question. And then we can say if you ever wanted to say has uppers either equal to upper or lowercase y, you can write something like is equal to capital Y, or has upper equal to lowercase y. We can combine it like so. There is a condensed way to do this, which we'll talk about in the future. But we can say if this is true, password.symbols, where it's going to be extending itself with the values of uppercase. We're asking, hey, password symbols, extend yourself by this. You can also join them together. Say symbols is equal to itself plus all the values in uppercase. We could have wrote something like that, and these two lines of code are basically essentially the same, and they would have same feature. And then we're going to copy this code because we will be working with this code just for the digits and the special as well. So we can say has special. Then this is changed to special and special. Include special characters. All right, so since these are not related, we have started separate if statements because the potential of us having special characters not dependent on us having upper characters. Therefore, we have it as unrelated, and we're asking two different questions and make sure to extend it with special. And lastly, we're going to copy this over, and we're going to say has digits. If we really want digits, we're going to ask include digits. And if they said that is true, we'll just copy this variable name over, compare with the y or the lowercase y, and then we will extend it with digits. So if we have included all these and our list of choices of various values that we can add into our password gets much larger. If we don't include any of them, we will only be generating based on the uppercase. Okay, so that was our password setup. All right, so we looked at all this, and our goal is to generate a password with a given constraint. So we can say a new password, which we haven't generated yet. So we're going to say this is an empty string. Empty string. This is going to be an empty string to hold our new password. Okay. And our goal is to choose random characters that exist in this list and add it onto the new password. And we're going to do that this many times. So we know that we're going to add this many items to this new password variable. So what I want to say is the following. We're going to say while the new password, which has a length, is not equal to the password length of what we desire. So if the length of this new password is not long as our desired length of password, what we're going to do is choose a random character or symbol and then add it on to a new password. So we can say that we have a random symbol, and that's going to be assigned to some value that we don't know. And then what we're going to do is ask new password, and we're going to say that it is equal to whatever was prior and add on this random symbol from our list of special symbols that we may add, either be lower, upper, or digits, or special characters. Okay, so now to randomly choose, because we could write and just pick random ones ourselves, but we should allow our program to randomly choose. So what we're going to do is at the very top of our program, before we do anything, we're going to write import random. We're now importing a feature that is built in Python so that we can mimic some sort of randomness, because there is no randomness built into the normal set of Python, but we can import something called a module so that we can access some built-in functions that exist in random so that we can borrow its functionality. So what we can do right here is to say, ask the random module, can I use your choice function, which randomly chooses an item from a list, and we're going to provide that with password symbols. And after this while loop is over, we should be able to print the following. We can say new password, and this is going to be an F string. This is a formatted string, has been generated. Okay. So I'm going to start from line number 10 and do a little breakdown in a bit, but let's see how this question works. So save our code, clear our console, and run this code. Let's say we want to have 4, password size of 4. We want to include upper, special, and digits. And it says here, extend digits is not found. It's because I spelled my variable wrong. I called it digits while I called it digit in line 38. So it's telling me here in line 38, I don't find the word variable digit. So I just need to write an S, save my code, run it again. We're going to say we want 4 again. We're going to add all the possible special characters. And then in here, oops, what I forgot to do is forgot to convert these random choices into characters. Okay. So, if we look at our code, to convert our random integers back to a character, there is a chr function. So let's Google what that function is. Chr function in Python. So if we look at what the chr function is, it gets the character that represents the Unicode of 97, which is in ASCII, what character is at the value of 97. So we have been getting random numbers that we have set aside here, and we need to now convert it back to some sort of a character that exists in the ASCII code system. So we're going to put char, and then convert that so that we know how it can handle that. Try this again. We're going to enter the length of 4. We're going to include upper, special, and digits. And we had capital I, apostrophe K, that has been generated. And if I run that again with 4 and include the same ones, it'll get HVM and an exclamation mark. As you can see, we get to now generate random passwords that have various lengths, and you can include whatever characters you like. So for example, if I want to create a really long password, like it has the length of 12, but I don't include upper, special, or digits, it would just strictly use lowercase characters because our password symbol starts off with the copy of the lowercase characters. So let's go from the top. Line number 10 was required because we were borrowing a feature from the random module, because there are no built-in functions that exist in Python that allows us to randomly choose from a list. So we're using the choice function that exists in the random module. In line number 13, I want to introduce our program. So we said, welcome to our password generating app, and we just made a little print statement. In line number 16, I've created a variable because I wanted to store the size what the user desired in terms of their password length. So we grabbed an input so that we can get a keyword input from the terminal, and I must convert to an integer because this is a numeric value, especially a whole positive negative number potentially, and we convert it to an integer. In this password criteria section here, which was quite complicated, we were referencing the ASCII table and the numeric value that is attached to characters, symbols, and digits. We learned that lowercase is assigned to a value from 97 to 123. We learned that uppercase goes from 65 to 91. All the digits are at 48 to 58, and special goes from 33 to 48, 58 to 65, 91 to 97, and 123 to 127. The reason why we added 1 extra to the edges of our range is because range never includes the last value. So if we want to ever go up to a certain point, we can just add 1 to our upper bound. Then, to have our variable password symbols where we will be randomly choosing values from that list, we started off with the lowercase .copy because we wanted to copy that variable's content into this variable to help us get started. And then we asked for 3 if questions. If they wanted to add upper, we got an input, and if they wrote either Y or Y, uppercase, lowercase, we extended that list with the contents of uppercase. In this case, we extended it with the special, and in this case, we extended it with the digit. And after all this has been considered, then we can move on to our code, where we have an empty string where it's going to start to just progressively add on symbols and characters that we have in our ASCII table that are valid to be passwords, and until that length of the password becomes the password length of desire, we keep on adding the random characters. And we chose the random characters by using this function called choice. From the random module so that we can randomly choose a special number ranging from anywhere from 33 to 127, where we can have either lower upper digits or special digits depending on what our password symbol list had. And once we grabbed that random number, we were able to convert that random number to char. So if I were to make a code comment here, we can say that char converts the random integer to its encoded value in the ASCII code. And that's what it does. And I'll put that in a new line. And once we have grabbed our random symbol, we were able to update the new password so that it takes the old one before and add on the random symbol at the end. And just like our print statement, we were able to output random passwords that we have. This right here is called an F string, or a formatted string, where we can add variables to be placed within a string that we want to generate by trapping them in curly braces. So this was a very basic program where we get to generate passwords, but there are a lot of new things that we've practiced here. So it is very recommended that you go through the textbooks and try the exercise questions before you attempt to try this question as well. Anyways, as always, thank you for watching and stay classy.